An all-new Eye on the Bay in HD starts right now.
Tonight, we're mere miles from the Mexico border when we discover a world unlike anything we've ever seen. Shores of dead fish, miles of dilapidated land, and a mountain of salvation in the desert.
And I'll take you to a part of this state that looks for all the world like the surface of the moon. And it is totally hot. It is all part of part 5 of our road trip to Southern California.
We're your Gotta Get Away for the Day guide, your Let's Try a New Place to Eat guide, even your Hey, It Really Happened Here guide. We're the tour guide with you in mind. Eye on the Bay.
Oh, I loved this place. The 3 Ps, pool, pampering, pedicure. Now we have to leave.
All good things have to come to an end, but BLT, Brian, Liam and Twee, we continue our desert adventure with something interesting ahead.
In fact, something completely different. We're going to escape this paradise and head for something almost otherworldly, a part of California hardly anybody visits. And it's going to soon become apparent why, because we require these in the next segment of the show. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen, but this show is going to stink. After taking a little mini vacation from our week-long desert road trip in Palm Springs, we head southeast toward our last and weirdest destination, the Salton Sea.
Stopping first, though, for a local treat at Shields Date Garden in Indio. We heard you just gotta try a date shake. Ooh, delicious. Then, back on the road. We're only 50 miles from Palm Springs, but it feels worlds away. It's getting bleak, creepy, and a little confusing. Let's have a Salton Sea 101 with Professor Hackney.
You are looking at the largest lake in California. 376 square miles. It's almost twice as big in surface area as Lake Tahoe. And yet, just over 100 years ago, none of this was here.
Wild.
This was just a dry basin until the nearby Colorado River overflowed in 1905 and turned this into a huge lake.
Now, could you put all that information into a song and sing about it?
Yes. Oh, Salton Sea, how very dry you used to be. Developers thought this would be a perfect resort, a Palm Springs with water, and they rushed to build the Riviera of the West, with visions of marinas, sun-splashed visitors, and happy families on vacation dancing in their heads. But the Colorado River was only a temporary water source, and when the river resumed its normal course, the lake began to disappear. This lake is really drying up fast. I'm at the edge of the water right now, but when I was here 5 years ago, the lake was washing up against the rocks at the base of Branson's feet. Branson's the guy who's shooting this. It's so hot here that 18 feet of the lake evaporates into thin air every year, and it's only 52 feet deep. So why doesn't it disappear? Well, because it's being fed by that, the Alamo River, which along with the New River are 2 of the most polluted rivers in the United States. They flow south into Mexico and then north into the Salton Sea, bringing with it industrial waste, agricultural runoff, and raw sewage. The remaining water sat and stagnated. It got smelly. The Salton Sea resort dream crumbled. Today, parts of the Salton Sea look post-apocalyptic. Dead fish, dead RVs, long, lonely stretches of abandoned dreams. Here's the golf course. Here's what's left of the yacht club.
Just really grim and pretty sad. I mean, it looks like a wasteland, as if maybe the world ended yesterday and this is what's left. The area certainly has its share of tragedies, oddities, and flat-out characters, but there are also some down-to-earth locals, like here in the struggling community of Bombay Beach, where the regulars gather at the ski-in for a beer and one of Wendell's famous patty melts.
Who would have thought? What's your favorite part about running this bar here in town?
Putting up with the goofy people.
So, How has life changed here over the years?
You can't put a boat in the water now to fish. They used to have 2 marinas here. And there used to be 5 bars and restaurants in this little old town.
Well, what happened over the years?
Business just got bad and most of them closed up.
But you're still standing strong. This bar is still happening.
Yep.
This bar's still happening, right? Yeah! Here, residents make the case that you can eat the tilapia from the lake.
The water is supposedly 25% saltier than the ocean, but it has not affected the fish or their health or anything. The fish in this lake is good to eat.
Would you eat fish from there?
Yeah, I've ate a lot of them.
And that even though the Salton Sea isn't the next Palm Springs, that doesn't mean it's a failure.
But of all the places you could have chosen, why here? Why Bombay Beach?
Well, I was born and raised in Chicago, and the weather out here suits me just fine.
It's just beautiful, quiet, peaceable.
You don't hear all the sirens and all the commotion going on in the world.
And even though our producers prepared us with clothespins for our noses, they were part of that mystery bag of supplies. We weren't assaulted by any offensive odors.
There's nothing scary out here. I like living by the lake. I think it's great out here.
On our way out, we joined hundreds of previous visitors in a ski-in ritual, posting a buck on the ceiling as a sign of hope for better days ahead, or at least to say that we'd been here and lived.
Liam and Twee.
When we come back, see how angry the earth is down in these parts. Whoa! And visit the most colorful mountain on earth.
Welcome back to Eye on the Bay. I'm Twee Vu here with Liam Makelem in Nyland, just about 2 miles outside of the Salton Sea.
And we are on top of the mountain, Salvation Mountain. Salvation Mountain can be found 3 miles east of the town of Nyland, close to the Salton Sea. Its creator, folk artist Leonard Knight, was resting when we arrived, so his friend Kevin Eubank took us on a tour. Why don't you sum up, if you will, what Salvation Mountain is all about?
Well, Leonard, came here in 1983 while he was going about the business of letting the world know that God loves them, everyone. It had nothing to do with any specific religion or proselytizing, really. He just wants people to know that there's a God and that he loves them, that's all. And Leonard's truck broke down here. And he was hauling a 200-foot tall hot air balloon that he built. This was the last location that he tried to get the balloon up, and but the balloon failed, was never able to leave the ground because it was so large, and so he started building a small monument that said God is love on it, and people were nice to him and brought him supplies, and he kept building, and 28 years later, this is what he got.
This is pretty mind-blowing. It is a never-ending maze of color. And I know it's all done with a whole lot of love, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Leonard loves to watch the sunrises and sunsets, and then he mimics the colors that he sees in the sky in here.
I mean, looking up there, I mean, that's a whole lot of work.
This past summer, he painted the entire interior of this by himself.
Yeah.
All I did was move ladders for him.
You know, I have a feeling Alice in Wonderland would love this place.
It's probably true. Well, his hope is that the work will stay around for a long time after him, so that more and more people will get the message that God loves them.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter to him if it becomes a museum as long as people can continue to see it.
As we were wrapping up, we received word that Leonard was getting up to meet us and share his simple message. The artist, the man behind Salvation Mountain is Leonard Knight. He's with me now. Leonard, good to see you, my friend.
Hello, I'm glad you came by. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. What a massive project.
Well, thank you.
Did you ever imagine it would become this big?
Not really, but it got big because God is love and he loves people and people love me, and I'm just trying to tell everybody that we can love each other and keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, don't get complicated with God's love and keep it simple.
I wish you well. I wish you well. Give me a hug. Come on.
Okay.
All right, man.
Well,
All right.
thanks for coming.
Well, if you do decide to come to Salvation Mountain, feel free to bring some paint or some cash to donate. We have some paint here. Make sure it's non-oil based paint. Leonard, thank you. Keep up the good work. And just up the road from Salvation Mountain is this place, Slab City, which actually isn't even a city at all. It's basically an old naval base where a loose-knit community of nomads and snowbirds now call home.
Yeah, a unique community, unique only to here, but they do have their own library, their own Christian center, and if you visit, you're requested to bring some cash to offer up as a donation to the live concerts they have under the stars.
Just another unique stop on our bizarre trip here to the Salton Sea. More to come when Eye on the Bay comes back.
Coming up, before the three of us head home, Mother Earth belches on me. Whoa! Welcome back to Eye on the Bay. I'm Brian Hackney, coming to you either from just south of the Salton Sea or from the surface of the moon. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. This is a part of the Salton Sea I have never seen before. It is stunning. It is too cool. Or should I say it's too hot. As the end of our trip and the end of this day gets closer, and while Tree and Liam scaled the face of Salvation Mountain, I went in search of another kind of holy hill. Literally, these hills have holes, and they're alive. It's bubbling, it's boiling, it's steaming. This collection of otherworldly mud volcanoes is formed in a place where the Earth's crust is being stretched so thin that there's not much distance between me and the Earth's magma below. What it does is heat some of the copious amount of water that comes into this area, and it converts it into steam, into mud, and into these bubbling mud pots. This strange site is hard to find. No signs, no maps, just an unmarked muddy field, but well worth the hunt. Wow, it is like a little Yellowstone Park right here in Southern California, and it is almost completely hidden. Few people know about this. It is just bizarre. Just want to see if this is hot. No, it's kind of lukewarm. But boy, does it stink. Woo! So much geothermal energy here, it is no wonder that just to the south, you can see what they're doing. Sticking a straw in the crust of the Earth and converting it into geothermal energy. I have a feeling this is really stupid to do. Whoa! It's my new Banana Republic jacket. I have to say, no matter how bizarre the Salton Sea may be on so many levels, it's a fascinating part of California's history and geology. And since Mother Earth just belched up mud on me, I'd say this road trip is done.
All right, guys, here we are. That was an awesome trip. We've done 1,000 miles, and here we are at the end of the road, end of the week.
And next time Leon will have his driver's license and possibly
Hopefully.
Well, but thank you to you two for being so wonderful at the wheel. And here's the good news, guys. We get to spend one more cozy night together to the hotel.
Is that good news?
That means put your foot down. Let's
There's
go.
one more night? All right.
One more night together,
Let's go!
Brian.
Woo-hoo!
From Fantasy Springs, Indio, California, this is where BLT, the Eye on the Bay crew, wrap up our 5-day desert road trip adventure.
And it's been a joyride. We had fun.
It has been a joyride. We have had fun. What are the highlights? What do you remember best?
I remember best hanging out with Hank Plant, going to Sinatra's home, standing in the room with Sinatra.
That was neat.
Spent so many times.
And I loved Badwater out in Death Valley. I mean, just to see the miles and miles of whiteness, the salt flats out there in the middle of the desert, incredible.
And you, Brian?
Pretty much have to be that dope slap that I gave you. Ow!
Can we do it again?
He liked it. He liked it. Before we go, we need to remind you, if you want to replicate the trip for yourself, log on to our website, cbssf.com/EyeInTheBay, or you could become a friend of us on Facebook. That'd be great, too.
And
now,
of...
if we're in a casino, we've got to take advantage of this. So
well,
come on
we need
over.
to get home, too. I need some money.
We need gas money.
This looks good, yes. All right,
okay,
there
so
we
we're going to
go.
spin it once.
And by the way, before we spin, thank you. Enjoy spending time and bonding with you.
All right, let's...
We're having a kumbaya moment here.
At least
All right.
trying to see what we... Okay, you ready?
Okay, you ready? Here we go.
On 1, 2, 3.
Oh!
She's a winner!
Unbelievable! We're getting home!
All right!
Let's fly home! Let's fly home! Oh.
See you next time. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
That means you've got to go home together?
Promotional consideration provided by the Hyatt Grand Champions in Indian Wells, Fantasy Springs Resort, and by City Rent-A-Car, San Francisco's answer to exotic and luxury car rentals.